We got Mark Kendall on the phone with us this morning on Cool 101.7. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Chris.
I know it's early out there, so I appreciate you getting on the phone with me.
No worries, man.
Mark Kendall's going to be with Great White, part of Rocktemberfest at Grand Casino Hinckley. So you guys have a new record out just like a couple of months ago, right? Full Circle?
Right, yeah. We went to Nashville and recorded an album with producer Michael Wagner, and we're, thrilled with the feedback and the way everything turned out. So, yeah, it was real exciting.
I love his production, and even more, I love the studios in Nashville. I lived there for 6 years, and those studios are just awesome.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you walk in this guy's studio, you're like totally blinded by platinum records. I mean,
yeah.
He sold like 100 million records in his career. So, yeah, it was just the whole environment there was really, peaceful. I mean, there was we were right on a lake with like ducks and deer coming up to the house. I mean, there wasn't any distractions at all.
And the cool part is, when you're in Nashville, I think Nashville's got that bad reputation that it's just a bunch of twangers down there. Everybody's playing steel guitars and spitting tobacco, and that's not the case. There's all types of music down there.
Oh, absolutely. We actually, a couple nights, we went out and saw bands play, and it was like the rock scene was awesome. And, we did this gang shout thing on our record, and we had probably 20 people come down and do background vocal gang shout.
Uh-huh.
And all these guys were big artists. They all live there. So, it's amazing. I guess 20 years ago, Michael Wagner moved there, and he said there was 500,000 people, and there's only 2 million now, which, L.A. dwarfs the vibe there as far as people in traffic and all that. It's a sweet place. It really is.
Yeah, and it allows you to because it is kind of quiet, as far as a big city goes, it allows you to be creative and really work hard in the studio, not have to have all that other stuff outside.
Absolutely. It made it so much easier. Our focus was all about the music. We were all living together. All we were doing is, we had to work things out at the house. We weren't fully prepared when we went out there. And so we did a lot of wood shedding at the house, and it was just fun. It was no stress at all. We were just all enjoying the moment and, going somewhere different. When you do stuff like that, it's exciting, because you don't know what's going to happen. And our whole vibe was just, we were like 22 years old running around in his studio. I mean, it was crazy.
I was going to say that. I mean, the vibe on the record sounds like a new, kind of like I don't know. I don't want to say new because you guys have been doing this for a while, but almost like rejuvenated, and it's kind of like the old days when you were recorded. You're all on top of each other and you got to work it out.
Yeah, we work good that way, when we're kind of pressured. But as far as the production, it's like a world-class production. I mean, Michael Wagner's an icon. He's done so many huge records, and, he's a taskmaster. He's the best at what he does. And
there you go.
That's why so many bands go to him, because they want to sound, sonically amazing, and he provides that. And he's a great guy. I mean, I've never felt so at ease doing a performance. I mean, this guy made me feel so comfortable. It was just awesome. He's a great guy. I mean, that's really important too. He's not just his skills aren't the only thing great about him. He's a really wonderful person to be around.
I think that's why he works with everybody too. That's why everybody wants to be in the studio with him. We're talking to Mark Kendall right now, guitarist, Great White, part of Rocktemberfest at Grand Casino Hinckley tomorrow. So let me ask you this. Being that you're a guitar player, you've got to have some guitar heroes.
Oh, yeah. Growing up, I mean, I started out at 14. I was into Carlos Santana like he was the only guitar player in the world for me.
Right.
But I skipped along, discovered guys like Alvin Lee, Johnny Winter, of course, Hendrix when I was real young. And, most of the guys that I listened to were, guys that played from the soul or whatever. I mean, I was just into, people that played with a lot of feel and had some melodic overtones to their playing, like Billy Gibbons, and
right.
those are the guys that made me want to play.
And now that you tell me all those guys, I can hear the influence, because you are more of a pure player than you are a screamer,
right?
And those guys are all pure players.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fascinated by the technical skills of the so-called shredders, but for me, when it's only shredding only, it just even though I appreciate the technical skills and oh my God, I mean, this guy's amazing, but it doesn't do a lot for me, like emotionally, musically. I'm into having part of that in my playing, but I like to come up with something, that's melodically something that might create an air guitar player, or, and I'm always playing for the song, what can I do to make this song the best it can be? Right. And it's usually by some kind of theme that I go back to, like in jazz or whatever, that, something, like the solo in Stairway to Heaven. I mean, he completely composed that solo, and it's pretty challenging, to be able to do that, because it complements the song, and that's what I do. At the end of the day, it's all about the song for me.
Right. Like I said, a pure player. You're a pure guitar player.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those are the like I said, those are the guys that made me want to play. Right. Like when I was 14, I mean, I was in a band that only played Santana. I insisted on it. So, I mean, that's how into the guy I was. I loved how he squeezed notes. I loved the way he incorporated, beautiful themes, and, yeah. I don't know, man. Something about that just,
yeah, no,
made me want to play.
He's part of the song. So I always ask this, and you don't have to answer. What's a good dirt story on somebody? In other words, was there a band that you played with that it was so bad, and why was it so bad? And like I said, you don't have to answer this.
Some of the bands that we played through, we were not treated the best by their crew. Okay. Which affected our show. And the band I'm going to mention is a great band, and the members in the band treated us golden, but their crew wasn't so good. That was Kiss. Okay. But as far as their show and everything, it was hunky-dory, but we weren't treated the best by their crew. They made our volume not as loud as theirs. They did stuff to the PA, and Yep. But on the good side of things, when we played with, like, say, Judas Priest, the Scorpions, they had the attitude that they wanted the entire night to be great. So they didn't put the handcuffs on us for the PA or the lights or anything like that. Right. So, because their attitude was, we don't want the opening acts to suck, and then we come out, we're the bitchin', godly rock stars. We want the audience to enjoy all the bands. Very cool. So they wouldn't do anything to our production to hurt us. Right. But that doesn't always happen. Yeah. No, I appreciate that. That's what I'm looking for. Something that you experienced that you can talk about later. And speaking of things that you've experienced, 20 years you've been married to the same woman. I have. And I want to make sure that's not a typo. Yeah, no, I have been married to the same woman. We get along great. Every once in a while you get lucky. It doesn't have to happen. My first time around wasn't so good. Right. And, we were kind of like oil and water after a while. But I met somebody that's just a really, really good person. I don't know how to explain it. It's like, I look forward to coming home. I'm not like, God, what can I do to not have to come home? Or, Okay. So it's a good thing. Every once in a while you get lucky. Yep. And what do your kids, let me ask you, because you have kids, what do your kids think? What do your kids think of this? Because you're kind of out there, and there are people that you're the guitar guy, and you're in Great White, and what do they think about all that? They bring friends to our shows.
Okay.
And, one time, I've told the story before, about one of my son, John's friend, he goes, "Your dad shreds, bro." I know these guys are like 3 generations away from us, but when you hear things like that, it's a great feeling, because I've also said this before, and that is that we can relate to our parents' music, because it was like, Benny Goodman and all these,
right.
Vegas kind of singers.
Yeah.
And, it was so removed from rock, we just couldn't relate. But our kids, even if they're into death metal, they can relate to our stuff, because at least it rocks. You get me?
Totally. My son's all into the 80s stuff. So he knows your guys' stuff. He knows Rat, and he knows ZZ Top and AC/DC. He knows all that stuff.
Well, when they discover it, they love it.
Yeah.
It's just they're not like music research people. They're not going to like dig.
Right.
But if you turn them onto it, I turn my son on to ZZ Top, and he thinks they're the greatest thing ever. He can't believe how great they are. And one of their songs was in some movie that he loves, and he'll play that part over and over because he loves the song
so awesome.
much. So I was in Sweden, and we were doing a gig, and outside of the hotel there was about maybe 30 kids, and they were all dressed like we dressed in 1985. And I was like, they were like 20. And I'm going, this is so cool, because it was almost like a cult. It's like they found something.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like they're 80s rockers. So they do the scarves and all the, the hairband look or whatever. So it's fun to look at that, and see the new generations, discovering our music and going, man, this stuff is like awesome,
Yeah. I know that when a lot of the 80s parties that I see, everybody looks like Bret Michaels, Well, I've told this before, but being lumped into the hair metal, yeah,
I never quite got that, apart from the look, because the same guy was making everybody's clothes.
I know.
So, I might get somebody a Judas Priest pants,
Yeah.
And it's so the look, I understand that, everybody, it's hair rock or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was really about the fashion more than it was the music for us, because we play the way they do because of our influence. We play the way we do because of our influences, not because of our hair.
Right.
I mean, I told the journalist once that my hair has never written one song in my life. So my hair is not a songwriter.
Right.
I play the way I do because of those artists that I mentioned,
Yeah.
So, and when we get together and play, it makes a certain sound. It really doesn't dictate to our hair. Or the 70s would be called bell bottoms and beads music. I mean,
yeah,
that wouldn't really serve it much justice, because there's a lot of bands that are like really good songwriters, and they play because of their influences.
Yep.
The way they do.
We're talking to Mark Kendall, guitarist for Great White, part of the acts at Rock Timberfest, Grand Casino Hinckley. I got one last question for you, Mark. What's a band that you like now?
I think a good band that came out of the 90s that I really kind of enjoyed, that had some really good melodic quality to the music, but it was kind of a darker harmonies, and that was a band called Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
I really felt like they tapped into something that can, maybe it has the darker vibe, but you didn't feel like it, they didn't make you depressed when you listened to them. Their lyrics were of the darker side, but it kind of had an edge to it that made me feel good when I listened to it. I'm going, man, this is, it has beauty in it, but in an edgy kind of way.
You should check out
not in a happy way, and I love that.
Check out Jerry Cantrell's solo stuff too. You'll like that.
Cantrell's badass.
Yeah.
All those guys. It was a shame to lose that singer so young.
I know.
because he really was a gifted singer.
Yeah, he was. He's on one of Heart's records.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, that guy's voice, man, the way he delivered, he's one of the top singers I've heard in rock. I mean, especially for being like a new artist at the time. I love the way he sang.
Yeah, I agree.
That guy was awesome.
Full Circle is the name of the record. Mark Kendall, the guitarist for Great White. Rocktemberfest is at Grand Casino Hinckley tomorrow. Is there websites that they can get a hold of you guys?
Yeah. Also, if you get the physical product from officialgreatwhite.com, we hired a company to roll cameras for the whole 2 months we were there.
Okay.
So we included a documentary with the CD. So it's a 2-disc set if you get it off officialgreatwhite.com. And it's available on all the download platforms. So you can get it like iTunes, Amazon, all that. So
awesome.
If you want the music only, download it. If you want the music and the documentary of us making it, I mean, where you can actually watch the songs grow and arguments and whatever, then go to our website and get it at officialgreatwhite.com.
Awesome. Mark Kendall, thank you so much for your time, and good luck tomorrow.
Thanks, Chris. Looking forward to it, bro.